Hello and welcome back to Earth Defense Force 4.1. So, do we have anything new? AF-18, no Goliath.
Rangers.
Nah, I said I wouldn't use it because it's
mission.
Heaven's
Deploying.
Army. What could possibly go wrong? Well, a lot can go wrong, to be completely clear.
Ravager transport ship confirmed!
For real?
It's half a battle! Prepare fire! They're coming!
Okay.
Ah, shit. Dragons.
Understood! Hey, don't die.
Was I missing it by shooting in the front? Seems like it.
Commence bombardment!
Shit. One more shot? No, it's too late.
Prepare to shoot! If we live, I'm...
Damn, okay, wait. I have to be careful and wait for that guy to open up. Because he's already damaged.
Throughout the world as a result of the attack from the Earth
Yes,
Eaters.
now. I think it should be enough. Come on. How many of those things are you shitting out, dude? Come on. Oh no, it's gonna close up before I can kill it. Maybe if I shoot over there? Yeah, okay. One of them is gone. Second one, we're doing fine. Come on. Kill him. Come on. Yeah, okay. That's gonna be problematic, but something for future me to worry about. Oh, these are red ones. I don't remember these ones from the base game, and hopefully they aren't angry things that can lift me into the air, you know? Come on. One more hit. Ah, no. No, because that one never got cracked open. Okay, let's collect some goodies while we wait.
Check the damage.
Yes,
sir.
I don't want to kill too many of these guys. So I can delay the phase. And there is gonna be like an extra phase. This couldn't be it. Oh shit. This is gonna be annoying to hit. No, get out of the way! It's purposefully blocking me. Okay. Now we can shoot him. Are you? Bugs don't go to hell. Because they're too evil for that. At least these ones. I don't know. Depends on what version of hell we're talking about. I don't know if Chinese hell exists. It's kind of funny, like, when... Obviously, I'm mostly clueless on this, because I don't know anything about theology, but I find it kind of funny that at least from what I've, like, from the little I've read, Chinese heaven is basically, like, a bunch of bureaucracy that decides your fate. Essentially, you go to, like, the ultimate court, where it is decided... Oh, again?
We've lost our contact. There's no answer from
command
headquarters.
That sounds bad. You basically decide if you're, you know, good or bad. If you are especially good, you may become oh, that really is the end of the mission. You become deified in some way, I believe. If you're really bad, you have to atone for your sins till, like, let's call it your karma is neutral. I don't think that's the exact terminology. But that's basically what
Select
they
a mission.
meant. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, just
Deploying.
another mission. And basically, like, I find it interesting because that's, like, you know, oops, what made China so incredibly powerful in, like, history was that they just had, like, bureaucracy, bookkeeping, that sort of shit figured out early on, which let them just be so much more efficient with some stuff that they had, like, tons of food
you
and resources. The reason why the meme is like, you know, Chao Ling takes power, 15 million people perish, is because there were just so many people in China compared to Europe for so much of history. And I mean, even today, Europe has what, like, if you count every single country, like 600, 700 million people? And China, which I believe is a little bit smaller, has half that, because it's in a, like, geographically brilliant location. And I've obviously always been interested in this from... like, I've always been interested in, like, a sort of historically technological perspective, right? Because I'm kind of interested in what stuff people came up with, because as we all know, and this is something true for cavemen, it's true for people today, people weren't stupid back in the day. It's just that the material conditions for many of the inventions that we had today weren't, you know, available. If you don't know what, like, gallium nitride is, you're not gonna be able to figure out what a, like, gallium nitride MOSFET is. Maybe I'm mistaking MOSFETs for transistors, but you know what I mean, like, if the prerequisites for you to discover a technology aren't there, you won't be able to discover it. Because even if a caveman could figure out the idea of having, like, computer instructions somehow, if there's no computer, like, you know, that's useless if there's no computer to actually use it.
It's destroyed.
Because... oh, great. Every headquarters is being obliterated. That's good. What was specifically amazing for me to learn is that for, like, nearly a millennia before Columbus discovered America, and before the invention of the caravel, the Chinese already had ships which were basically capable of crossing the Atlantic. Now, you may be wondering why didn't they do that, and the answer is because China was so fucking rich in resources that there was no real, like, colonial reason for them to visit new lands. Like, there was no need to acquire more resources. They were China. There was no reason for them to search for maybe more manpower. They were China. And trading, well, everybody already came to them, so their ships were used whenever they had to protect their things, which meant that, you know, these strong ships would either be used for fishing, which meant, you know, they would have to survive going a bit out into the Pacific, but not very much. But even so, the tech in these ships was crazy. One thing is that the ships had composite woods, which allowed the ships to simultaneously, like, you know, dissipate tension while, like, you know, by flexing, without actually, you know, risking... well, they were also, like, you know, they had a mix of hardwoods and softwoods, laid out in a weird composite fashion, which meant it so they could basically flex and, like, bend, but not, like, contort or twist or, like, just snap, which was an issue for, like, a lot of history with a lot of ships. The beauty of this, of course, is, as you can probably imagine, these ships had other advancements, and one of my favorite ones being the bulkheads, which sounds really... if you don't know what a bulkhead is, it's basically like a cross. If you ever look at, like, if you were like a neurodivergent child who had one of those cross sections of big ships images, like picture books as a kid, right? I didn't, but I've seen them. Sadly. I had a train one, and I don't really care much about trains, so I am disappointed. But basically, the bulkhead is basically the... like a horizontal brace that goes through the entire ship and adds both structural rigidity and, just in general, adds, like, a ton of, like, waterproofing. This is because, like, the way you would often go up and down Chinese, they were called junks, is you would have, like, a bunch of ladders on top for each section, and then you would just, like, take a ladder going to each section. And that was genius. I'm pretty sure they were made partially out of bamboo, which obviously gave great rigidity. And so through all of this, in 2008, Taiwan made a ship that was, well, not Taiwan, some guys in Taiwan built a ship called the Princess Taiping. And they wanted to see if, like, period-accurate, roughly Columbus-era Chinese ships could, and this was a small ship, by the way, they could have made larger ones, not treasure fleet-sized ones, just like, they had a smaller, more combat-equipped one, you know, rather than maybe a larger trading one. Obviously, they didn't equip it with weapons, they were just using it, you know, especially when it's just a couple guys building a large wooden ship. You can't go too big. So the 11 sailors, obviously, I'm pretty sure they had some kind of protection, decided to set off from Taiwan to California. And they made it. And they made it back 30 miles to Taiwan when they got rammed by another ship. And then fucking Princess Taiping sank. And all the guys on the ship were rescued. But yeah, we can't blame them for the fucking ship ramming into them, though I would also probably be, like, a little bit stunned if I just saw, like, you know, an ancient treasure fleet era ship just floating in the water in front of me. It's not like they could, you know, really... It is kind of, like, you know, I always find the ship collisions kind of funny, because it's very slow motion. Not as funny as when people die, but, you know. The real funny part is, though, that this is why I have a few, like, well, not conspiracy theories, right? But I have a few of my own little theories that archaeologists or other kinds of historiologists would look at and say, well, yeah, that's possible, but there's, you know, just my pet low-stakes theories. One of them is that the Sphinx used to have a larger head at some point, which then got damaged by either weather, a storm, earthquake, doesn't really matter. But basically, my simple idea is that at some point in time, the head was rebuilt smaller, because allegedly, from what I've read, the head seems younger than the body. And so I feel like the most obvious solution for this is that something happened to the old head, and they had to rebuild it from what was there.
Deploying.
My other theory, and this one's been kind of semi-proven, is that there's always an older city, there's always an older settlement that we haven't found. It's just a matter of finding them, and probably a lot of those settlements are lost underneath the sea, under, like, you know, because after the Ice Age, sea levels went up by, like, 80 meters, and that meant that a lot of the coastal settlements back then were underwater today.
This is headquarters. Exterminate the dragons.
Yes, sir. Those are my two theories that I humbly believe in. And my third theory, and this one's my current favorite.
The Pacific Ocean Fleet 8 is attacking.
My current favorite theory is the idea that the Ming Dynasty treasure fleet, you know, the huge one, was actually built to their correct size. That, because, you know, historically people assumed the sizes were exaggerated, that they were like 80 meters, not 130 meters, because, like, realistically, a wooden ship may, like, you know, the Wyoming, for instance, was a Western wooden ship, which struggled at those kinds of dimensions and then split apart at sea. However, this is where, like, we enter the problems where, for one, I'm not a ship expert, but I know enough about materials to where I can say, you know, although we don't know what happened, I have my own opinions. Because, you know, I feel like I can, it's not exactly high stakes, or I would even argue controversial. Purely because I just believe that with the technological advancements I mentioned earlier, like the bulkheads, the wider keel is also something you didn't mention. Just, I feel like there are just a bunch of things.
So you feel like a legendary hero now?
Yeah.
A large dragon is heading to this area.
Excuse me?
How large?
They have a huge... The enemy is coming. Get ready. Yes, sir.
But yeah, it's one of those things where...
It's the giant dragon.
Yes, sir.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that? Shit, I missed.
It'll be hard to escape on foot. Fire! Take down the giant dragon.
Yes, sir. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. I was half, oh my god, I was half ready to name this video, like, musings about Chinese warships, but no. This is gonna, well, it is a very Chinese-themed episode when I think about it, actually, because what's more Chinese than a dragon? Culturally speaking.
Aim for the wings. Immobilize it.
Maybe not as long as the traditional Chinese ones, but, you know. Anyways, yeah, so basically, like, there were just so many factors which make me believe that, like, the size, like, that the treasure fleet size, at the very least, maybe it was exaggerated, right? But even if it was, I still feel like the ships could still function at their, like, reported size without breaking up, you know? This is basically, like, my theory. And I don't really like when people discuss conspiracy theories online for one reason, right? And the big reason is basically that every single conspiracy theory, as I said, I jokingly called it that earlier, but it's not a conspiracy theory because there's no conspiracy to cover it up. There's only a bunch of historians claiming their thing and me positing my thing, and there's no conflict here. Whenever people talk about conspiracy theories, the, like, implication is always that, like, the omnipresent they are trying to hide the truth from you, and the truth is never actually true, because oftentimes what they do is they provide a bunch of falsified or cherry-picked evidence for their viewpoint, and then tell you you should make your own conclusions, but they always, you know, only provide the bullshit that would validate their theory, and not what the quote-unquote experts would say. And, the thing is, right, it's one of those things where, like, it's a good idea to, like, kind of question a lot of things which people have said before, because, like, for a while, people thought that, like, women and, like, you know, in general, being abused was just female hysteria or whatever, until people challenged that notion and changed, like, you know, psychology for the better. Just as an example that I've recently learned about. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that, I think it was Freud, who, was basically threatened by, like, some of the husbands and or fathers of some of these girls to, basically, like, not say what he discovered under the threat of him being murdered, because they didn't want the truth to come out. And obviously these days it has, but it just shows how awful some people are. And these would be the people who would be calling Freud, like, you know, if this came to light, these would be the people who would be running podcasts talking about how you don't know the truth, man. Okay, well, am I still shooting him? Oh, I'm hitting him. Well, yeah, but... Oh my god, how much health does this bastard have? Okay, take another Goliath. Take one more! Okay. Oh my god. What's happening? Did I get clipped by him? Yes. Damn it. But yeah. Oh no, fuck off. It's very much... Yeah, I was... Oh no, I'm gonna die here, dude. Please, carry me to health, not death. Oh my god. He is clipping into me. That's why you don't pick up all your health items immediately. Now I'm retreating to regather the ones I've missed. But yeah, it's one of those things where like you know, it's when I jokingly say like, oh, my theory. There's no like, you know, attempt at hiding it. It's just what I think could have happened. I feel like those ships could exist at their real sizes. Sadly, I have no ways of testing that. Maybe one day, if I become the world's first ethical billionaire, I'll be able to spend my money and hire a bunch of people to build a colossal wooden ship. And once it's built, if I'm proven right, I'd have the coolest fucking ship in the world. And that would be, even if like it doesn't work and I need to like strengthen it with like steel or whatever so that it doesn't break apart, even if that failed, I'd still have the coolest ship in the world. So think about it that way. Maybe China should hire this man to build a giant wooden ship. I would gladly spend a bunch of, like, money, somebody else's money, to construct a colossal wooden ship. Sure, why not? Me signing the Faustian bargain, and then I have like the ghost of Deng Xiaoping keep on whipping me as I myself, one guy, have to work on this giant ship. And the ghost of Deng is telling me, see, you have all the materials you need. You just have to build now for the rest of your life. Honestly, not the worst existence from how, like, badly life can go. Because at least, you know, it's a Sisyphean task if Sisyphus would always get a little bit closer to the fucking ceiling every time. Not the ceiling, you know. I'm gonna die here because I can't really dodge. And what's he doing? I'm over here, you bastard. Got him in the balls. Come here. I mean, not that close, but, you know. Come on. Yeah. No. Come here. Was that escape information meant for me? I should step back, shouldn't I? Yep. Oh my god! This is what I... Yes!
Failed to destroy the brain. Fleet 8 has been destroyed. The brain has escaped.
Yeah, it's escaping out of my head as well. Where's the goodies? Shit. Yes! And I get nothing. Okay. So what is the next mission? The threat.
Deploying.
Okay. I don't understand how, like... So, this is a port of a Japanese, like, console game on PC. This is meant to be buggy as shit. But it not only works until I alt-tab, but it's just fine. Meanwhile, Bethesda hasn't figured out how to make it so that when I move the cursor off the screen, it doesn't scroll whatever window's there for some reason.
The enemy's approaching from the back, too.
Huh. Oh.
Giant insects are coming!
Are they? Well, let's go to one group.
Ranger 7, we won't leave you. All units, attack the giant insects.
Reloading now! No bark, no bite! You okay?
Well, I don't really make many noises.
Armor's cracked!
Here's a fun fact. Do you know that fish don't make any noise?
The storm team came.
Well, they can sometimes make noise. Like, but I mean, like, they don't have any inherent vocal cords or whatever. So whenever they make noise, it's basically just by burping or whatever. It's not by... You know, they can't make vocalizations in the same way we do. I'm pretty sure some... Because there's water. I know some of them, I think, vibrate in order to scare off predators. But there are no traditional vocal cords in the sea, I believe. Not from fish, at least. Obviously, whale songs are still, like... They're like... Well, I think enough people know that, like, whales have their own little songs, right?
You're doing great.
Yeah, something which has always kind of perplexed me is, really old human stuff. Because, obviously, you know, Homo sapiens have risen to prominence because we are, like, you know, hyper-optimized, I guess would be the correct term for our environments, and we were just way more adaptable from my understanding, moved in larger groups, that sort of stuff. But the other groups of Homo were close enough to where, like, you know, you could interbreed with them and have healthy enough offspring to where the chances are, you know, if you live outside of sub-Saharan Africa, at one point, one of your parents was from, like, a different species. They were, like, they were a Neanderthal or Denisovan or whatever, you know? And, what's so perplexing to me is the fact that, like, all of these, you know, like, I wonder how it would have felt. Especially, I don't want to use the term primitive, right? Because I feel like even if these are literally different species to a degree, you know? I still feel like it's wrong to say that, because, you know, these would still basically be human in a sense. Like, they would be hominins, you know? And basically, like,
We were surrounded by the enemy like this before.
What happens now?
There was a hero at the time. A hero that took out the enemy units alone.
Hey, are you delirious with fear?
He was,
The enemy isn't expecting it either.
his name was...
It's the bottom of the night, and bases are
They're
loaded.
coming!
And we need... There's still more.
This is Scout. Many enemies are approaching.
Bugs and bugs. Okay, that's fine.
Until you're out of... Who's next?
So, yeah, we just have to wait for them to close in. But yeah, one thing is, like, these ancient species of human. I wonder how it would have felt. This is like a theory for the Uncanny Valley.
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes there was conflict between, like, you know, species versus species in a sense, because we would compete for resources. And so a theory that I've seen that was interesting, I don't know if it's any good or not, sadly, was the idea that, like, basically the Uncanny Valley happened because you want to have some kind of instinct that would make it so that, you know, you, the Homo sapien, doesn't follow, like, a bunch of, you know, some people from a sister species back to the tribe, and then you get hit over the head with a rock. Because they don't know you. And obviously there are other explanations too, and I don't know how correct or incorrect these, you know, ideas are, but I feel like they're, oh my God. I feel like they're interesting enough to where, like, even if not believable, at the very least they make for an interesting story. And, yeah.
Wing diver team has arrived.
It's an interesting, like, narrative, because I'm pretty sure there was, at least one, like, dig site in Europe where they found, like, a bunch of eaten Neanderthals.
Good commander.
Or a bunch of, I guess, Neanderthals with evidence that, something not only ate them, but, like, you know, cut them up, prepared them, which may have meant that, although some human groups, like Homo sapiens, like, fucked with the Neanderthals, the other ones, had a very different interest Or maybe, you know, when times got tough, you know, humans have resorted to cannibalism against other humans, historically. So, like, who's to say, you know, that, a sister species may feel less taboo to the tribe. And times were fucking horribly tough back then, because, shockingly, the Ice Age wasn't cold and wet. It was cold and dry and less predictable and less stable.
G6 is under attack by enemy air units. It is completely destroyed. Command headquarters functions. I can't take it anymore!
Oh. That sounds like an entirely different voice actor. But yeah, there's very much one of those sorts of things, right? Where, for instance, for agriculture, you would basically need to, like, because, I mean, the idea for agriculture would be, like, you know, humans had to make the connection when hunting and gathering, how to plant things, and how to ensure that once they planted, oh god.
It's the enemy's trap. Their vast army is approaching. It looks like you are surrounded.
Oh, that's fine. That once you actually plant something, like, you know, the idea that you can plant and replant and continuously get new materials from it, that is the big sort of thing, you know? And, like, that's, sorry, but that's just, like, very basic, you know, feeding and, you know, collecting. But going from that, like, there's a pretty big jump from just that to understanding that you can then, like, you know, have those crops, and you can, like, you know, try to either interbreed them, or I guess early on, plant more of specifically the ones that seem to be growing the best. You know, that is, you know, how things work. And there is something to be said about, like, how plants sort of have entered into a pseudo-symbiotic relationship with humans. Which begs the question of, like, because I've never been... Because, like, whenever I see people discuss veganism, right, I've always seen it discussed from a very moral perspective. Where, really, it should be more about, like, I feel like you should, because, you know, for one, people can argue over morality all they want. I mean, it's subjective. Back in the day, they would brand a woman a witch, throw her in the lake, and if she floated after drowning, she wasn't a witch, and if she sank, she was a witch. But she would still, you know, they would figure out if she was a witch or not after they drowned her in the fucking lake. So, you know, morality hasn't always been the top priority in a discussion. However, one true thing... So I would love to play a horror version of this. Just like being, you know, not Resident Evil, like Silent Hill Earth being just like a, you know, just being like a little character being hunted through like an abandoned school or whatever, or like through an industrial park by a band of these colossal fucking bugs. I feel like that would go pretty hard in today's world. But, yeah. What I was specifically gonna say about, the veganism thing, right? I feel, cause like, if you just do the math, it is far less efficient for us to farm animals compared to, like, farming other stuff. And that other stuff can basically give you, like, the vast majority, if not all of them, you know, the necessary stuff you need. Like, I'm no animal rights activist. I believe that the rights for animals should be more for, you know, or more accurately, the laws should be more centered around humans. Like, you're not allowed to, you know, you're not allowed to pump farm animals full of antibiotics and shit, because those could have bad effects for us. They're banned in the EU, I believe. Because, you know, farmers will kill you to save 5 cents, like, on a slab of meat. Or on a piece of grain. So there's that. But the main one is just that, like, farming, like, potatoes or fucking soybeans or whatever is way more efficient. And soy can be converted into stuff that obviously isn't meat. It doesn't taste like meat, but it tastes perfectly fine. And I feel like, you know, because there's a lot of cultural stuff about, like, you know, soy and stuff, because people are stupid. But if it came down to it, you're still probably gonna have, like, the soy burger over the bread. And I don't know how things are going, we'll see. Yeah, that's gonna be it. The soy produced in the US goes to feed pigs over in China. Actual pigs, like the ones that turn into pork. Fun fact. See you next time, goodbye.